Hi children, it's great to see you and welcome to Kids Church. And we're now in February, which is exciting, isn't it? It's nice to feel like spring might be a little bit in the air, and that makes me feel happy, so I hope it does for you as well. And I really hope you've had a good week. So last week you had Vicky, didn't you? And she was telling you a story all about Jesus and a miracle that he performed where he made Jairus' daughter better. Well, we're going to be learning about one of the other miracles that Jesus did this week. But first of all, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about nature. Now, you might have been going for walks and things for your exercise with people in your family, and nature can be a really powerful thing, can't it? The wind can actually become so strong that it can do damage to things. And actually a couple of weeks ago we saw a huge storm in Chester, and I don't know if you saw any of the pictures, but some places near to here got flooded. The banks of the river came over and there was water everywhere. So nature can be incredibly powerful, can't it? But do you know what is even more powerful than nature? And that is God. Because God created nature and God can do incredibly powerful things. And when we hear about Jesus' miracles, those were incredibly powerful things, weren't they? So that's what we're going to be learning a little bit more about today. So our story starts in a place called Capernaum. And there was a very important man that lived in Capernaum. Now, you know I like my Lego for these videos, so I've got my model here. So here's our important man in Capernaum. And he had a son. But he was really, really worried about his son because his son was not very well. His son had a fever. So I've got his son on his bed here. And when you've got a fever, that means you get very, very hot, doesn't it? So he was worrying about his son. He thought he might be very ill. And he decided, he had heard that Jesus was nearby in a place called Cana. Now, you might have heard of Cana before because Jesus did quite a special, his first actual miracle there. And I wonder if anybody knows what Jesus' first miracle was that he did in Cana. Does anybody know? He turned water into wine at a wedding. So that was the first miracle that Jesus ever performed. Well, he'd been other places, but he had decided to come back to Cana. And this very important man who lived in Capernaum, which was quite a few miles away from Cana, he knew that Jesus was going to be there, and he had heard that he could perform amazing miracles. So he was very worried about his poorly son. So he left his son with a servant and he said, I'm going to go and I'm going to find Jesus in Cana. So off he went from Capernaum, and it was a long, long, long walk. It took him about 5 hours, but eventually he found Jesus in Cana. So I've got Jesus here. I didn't really know where Jesus was, but I decided he might have been by a temple or something. So I've made this little thing here. But here is the man. And he went and he spoke to Jesus. And he told Jesus, my son is very, very sick. And I'm very worried about him. Please, could you come with me to Capernaum? And could you please make my son well again? Now, I wonder what you think Jesus might have done. Do you think Jesus went all the way to Capernaum with him? Well, what Jesus actually decided to do was a little bit different. Because I know with Jairus' daughter last week, he went to Jairus' house and he made her better in her house. But do you know, God wanted to show that he had so much power with this miracle and that he didn't even need to go to Capernaum. And what Jesus said was, if you have faith, then your son will be well again. Now, what does it mean to have faith? It means that we trust God, doesn't it? It means that we believe that God can really do it. So it was about 7 o'clock in the evening when Jesus said this to the man. And he said to him, have faith and your son will be healed. Well, the man did have faith. He believed that Jesus could do it. And so he said, okay, I believe you. And he started back on his long, long, long walk all the way back to Capernaum. So off he's going on his walk. It took him a long, long time. 5 hours. It's a long time. But while he was on the way back, he saw his servant coming towards him to meet him. Now, I wonder what the man was thinking at this point. Do you think he thought it was going to be good news, or do you think he was worried? Do you think he thought, oh no, what if it's bad news? What if my son has got even more poorly while I've been gone? I wonder what he was thinking. Well, the servant had a big smile on her face. There she is, look, a big smile on her face. Because something amazing had happened. His son had got out of bed and he was well again. It was a miracle. And do you know, the man said, at what time did he get better? At what time did he get out of bed? And at what time did the fever disappear? And the servant told the important man, she said it was at 7 o'clock in the evening, which was the exact time that Jesus had told the man, go and believe and your son will be well again. So isn't that amazing? So because the man believed, Jesus was able to have that much power that instantly the boy got better. And that was really, really amazing news. So they all went back and the man was so happy because his son was well again. And it was a bit of a miracle, wasn't it? And do you know that the man, his son, and all the servants in his house believed in Jesus after that because of this incredible miracle that happened? They believed that he was the Son of God and they believed that in God and believed in miracles. So that was a really amazing story, wasn't it? So I wonder for each of us if we can put our faith in God as well, because sometimes it's not easy to trust, is it? It can be quite a hard thing to do. But if we trust in God, if we put our faith in God and we say, God, I believe that you can help me. And God, I believe that you can do amazing things. If we pray to him, if any problems that we have, any worries that we might have, then you know God can do amazing things. And it didn't just happen in the Bible. It can happen today as well. So I wonder if we can say a little prayer now all together. And we can pray to God for our week ahead. And we can pray that we can put our trust in God, just like the important man in our story from Capernaum put his trust in Jesus. Okay, we'll say our prayer. Dear God, I thank you for each and every one of the children in our church. And thank you for our families as well. And I thank you that you're keeping us safe, Lord, at this time. And I really pray now that you will help us this week to trust in you in all the different things that are happening in our lives. I pray that you can make our faith as big as it can be so that we can trust you. And if we need anything, that we can just ask you, Lord, and believe that you will help us. Amen. Well, I hope you all have a really lovely week and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. So children, your work for today is in your workbooks and it's under number 3. So if you are in the younger group, it will look like this. And if you are in the older children's group, it will look like this. And there's some nice work to do all about our story today. So you should be able to find that under number 3 in your workbooks.